Hello and welcome to today's live stream. My name is Ivy Prosper. Thank you for joining. And I do stories from Africa and the African diaspora. Today, I'm doing a live stream where I am having a discussion that's very important. There's so many people who have been interested in investment and business opportunities in the continent of Africa over the last few years. It continues to grow. And especially in West Africa, Ghana has quickly become a place where people are seeing potential for opportunities, while Nigeria, as Africa's biggest economy, has always been a big power player in business. Today, I'm speaking with some executive members of the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council. They support and promote trade and commercial relations between Ghana and Nigeria. And the exciting thing is they are going to be having a conference in Atlanta, Georgia on October the 18th. Their objective is about promoting trade between Ghana and Nigeria and encouraging the transition and providing support when interested parties are looking to set up business in Ghana or vice versa. And this particular conference will encourage people to do business in West African countries, Ghana and Nigeria specifically. Now, I was promoting that we would have the executive members on today to have this discussion. We do know that executive people do have busy schedules, and sometimes they are not able to make it for certain events due to conflicts of scheduling. So I appreciate the people who we have that have been able to take the time to make it today. Nadia is to be on this live stream. I do know she's having some internet challenges, so hopefully she'll be able to join us very soon. So for now, we have Takyiwaa-Mensah, who is coming to us live from London. She is one of the executive directors of the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council. And we also have Ifosa, who is the executive director as well at the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining today. I would love if you can give a brief introduction of yourself. We'll start with Takyiwaa, what you do with the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ivy, for this opportunity, for having us on. The executives from the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council, we're so much appreciative of it. So thank you. So just a quick introduction about myself. I describe myself as Takyiwaa-Mensah. Most people know me as a super connector. I have a background in marketing, events, and PR. And I also act as, a diaspora representative for Ghanaians in the UK. So in terms of my role as a council, is literally how we help people and businesses, to grow and thrive in Nigeria and in Ghana, and obviously anyone else that's around the globe that wants to do business in those both countries. So a bit of a nutshell about me and what my interest is with the council.
Ifosa, if you can give a brief introduction of yourself as well.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name's Igehon Oluwabumi Ifosa. I'm an insurer by profession. Hello? All right. I'm an insurer by profession. I came to Ghana in the year 2008, seconded by a company called Intercontinental Insurance Company. Ever since I've been in Ghana, I also have worked in Ghana with all various insurance companies until I started my own insurance brokerage firm. I have a certificate in risk management. I'm a fellow in the insurance industry in Ghana. I'm also a chartered member of the Personal Investigation Board. And because of our insurance principles, there's a lot of investigation. So I'm also a chartered fellow in the investigation board. My role as an executive of the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council is to establish a point where we introduce the opportunities in these various countries, vice versa, Ghana and Nigeria, and we help them to see the opportunities, establish them, and make gain of the various opportunities in Ghana and Nigeria. These two countries are the various, they are the biggest continent in this West Africa, and we want to ensure that the people see the benefit of doing business in these two West African countries. And so our very main role is just to create our venue, help them to establish, and help them to benefit out of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Now we have Nadia, who is the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Nigeria Business Council, who's joined us. If you can share with us a brief introduction of what you do as well.
Good evening, good afternoon. Hi, Ivy. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. Yep, I am Nadia Takyiwaa-Mensah. I'm the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Nigeria Business Council. I basically liaise with all of our strategic partners along with our community database and our members and other external stakeholders when it comes to pulling activities together at the Ghana Nigeria Business Council. Also, just ensuring that the council constantly has a pulse on what is going on between the two nations within the corridor, and then and just basically ensuring that we're able to speak to the concerns and the requirements of what both Ghanaian and Nigerian businesses require in order for them to successfully do business in their respective countries. And I guess, sorry, I'd just like to say there's also some sensitization work that's done as well. So demystifying certain ideas and thoughts that people might have about doing business in either of the countries.
I'm glad you added that, because sometimes people have thoughts of what it is like to do business in an African country, especially with what sometimes mainstream media shows of Africa. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Thank you.
Now, I want to quickly welcome everybody who has joined this live stream. Thank you so much for taking the time. We are talking about the Ghana Nigeria Business Council and how they are doing a conference in Atlanta, Georgia on October the 18th, and how some of you can take the opportunity to join that. Just putting on the screen right now the information about the Ghana Nigeria Business and Investment Conference, happening again Tuesday, October 18th, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30. Registration is $250 per person to attend that event. And so I feel like I have an echo here. I hope that you all can hear me okay. Is there a bit of an echo on my side?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Awesome. So I want to get into a few questions, because some people may want to know and may want to understand why the Ghana Nigeria Business Council was formed in the first place, just to get an understanding of your organization. Any one of you can take the answer to this question.
Okay, so the Ghana Nigeria Business Council was formed in 2013, 2014 by the Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana at the time. And it came from him identifying that there were a lot of opportunities that were not being explored between Ghana and Nigeria. There was a lot of trade opportunities. There was a lot of collaboration opportunities. So as he was acting as the High Commissioner to Ghana at the time, he then set out to establish a council in Ghana, which is the Ghana Nigeria Business Council, and respectively the Nigeria Ghana Business Council, which is in Lagos, Nigeria, to ensure that we're promoting trade between the two countries.
Great, thank you so much for that information. Anyone else? I think you pretty much gave us a roundup of that. If anybody else wants to answer that, you can. If not, I can move on to the next question. Why is it important for Ghanaians and Nigerians to be able to work together when it comes to doing business? Because I feel like Ghana and Nigeria have quite the friendly, brotherly relationship, but they also have that that funny relationship of brothers fighting with each other. I mean, when I think about the Jollof Wars, just to be lighthearted about it, which one is better? Why is it important for these two countries to come together when it comes to doing business? Ajwa, I'll ask you that question.
Sure, sure. I mean, it's good that you started on the lighter note, the jollof and all of that. Well, but I think that, I mean, in your introduction, you stated clearly that Nigeria and Ghana are two big, powerhouses in terms of their economy, and I think that with both countries combined, there's a lot that can be achieved. So essentially, coming together to do business is looking at how best we can grow our economy between those two countries, and then look at creating opportunities as well for trade between those two countries. So essentially, it's about how we can grow our economies together, combining the different resources that we have, and then creating opportunities within the two countries.
Great, thank you. And I just want to say, everybody who's watching today, if you have a comment or question, please do put it in the comment section, and we will do our best to address your questions. As a reminder, the whole goal of today's conversation is to bring to light the concept of doing business in West Africa, and the fact that there is going to be a conference in Atlanta, Georgia, that the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council is doing. Again, that is on October the 18th. Happening in Atlanta, Georgia. So if any of you are in the United States or maybe anywhere in the world and you want to book your ticket and fly out there, it's an opportunity for you to go. And this conversation we're having today is also an opportunity for you to ask some of the executives of the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council about the event and about what to expect on that particular day. So my next question goes to the ECOWAS. If one of you can explain ECOWAS, which is bringing together the West African countries, what is it? Why is it important? And what's the importance of Ghana and Nigeria when doing business? Because some people don't know what this is. Like, you'll have a lot of people coming from the US, Canada, UK, and they may not be familiar with it. And then we do have people who do know. But for those who are not familiar, can you elaborate on how ECOWAS is important and how it fits into the African Continental Free Trade Agreement? Actually, you'll get to that question second. First, I want to know about the importance of ECOWAS for Ghana and Nigeria. Ifosa, if you can take this.
Right. Well, I'll take that, and I'll go back with a little bit of statistics. The ECOWAS was set up by the Economic Community of West Africa. The essence of ECOWAS, the mission was just simple. It was just to promote the economic integrity and to promote the industries in Africa. The leaders felt that the West Africa needs to come together and promote their trade. And they chose specific areas. It was an area of transport, telecommunication, energy, agriculture, very important. And they formed this committee so that there can be inter-country trade missions and establishments. And let me take you back a little bit and give you some basic statistics about West Africa. West Africa has about 190 million population. The total population of West Africa is about 419. And with a GDP of about 1.9 billion. And guess what? In that population, Nigeria has 52%. And Ghana has about 7%, followed by Ivory Coast, followed by Niger. And if a country, both Ghana and Nigeria, has about 60% of a total population of West Africa, that gives us an idea of what they need to do together. That gives us an idea why it's so important that Ghana and Nigeria comes together to lead this trade mission, because we can only grow by intertrading. We can only grow by establishing businesses that will benefit each other. And so ECOWAS was a basic committee that was formed for us to look into those avenues. And of course, after that, and we said we'll go into that question of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which was just established in 2018. The agreement was signed in 2018. And I'm sure by the time we get into that questions, we're able to take it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. As you said, you're going to, I don't know if you're going to do it or if Nadia or Ajwa wants to take it to talk about the African Continental Free Trade Area, which just went into effect. I believe it's less than a year now, correct? That it went to effect, or it might be just over a year now. And their office is actually in Accra, Ghana, the Secretariat office. And it's a great opportunity for those who are not familiar for African countries to trade with each other, because it is something that doesn't happen often. You'll find an African country trading with a European country before they're trading with a neighboring African country. So it is very important. We have a viewer here. Good evening. Thank you, Ivy, for hosting this panel. This question is Ifosa. What specific role? Okay, it looks like your question didn't come through completely. If you want to retype that question, because it looks like part of your question is missing, and then we can have him answer your question. So the African Continental Free Trade Area. Oh, and Nadia wants to say something.
Sorry, Ivy. I just also wanted to add to what Ifosa explained on ECOWAS, and also just to tie in on the importance of Ghana and Nigeria doing trade together. So there's something to also bear in mind, which is that Ghana and Nigeria, we are both English-speaking countries as well. Most of the countries in the West African bloc, it's mixed with French-speaking and English-speaking countries. But as Ifosa stated, as we Ghana and Nigeria being the English-speaking countries, and also having a historic relationship with each other when it comes to trade. I mean, you made jest of the Jollof Wars. Yes, there's that. But then there's also a lot of historic trade, whereas one of our biggest markets in Ghana, for example, which is Mokola Market, it was actually established and founded by Nigerian traders. Ghana has also had a big impact on the Nigerian economy over the years, and vice versa. So the fact that we are both English speaking, we're just 2 countries away, 90 minutes on the plane, if not less than that, it really exaggerates our activities that we have between each other when we're doing business. And there's a lot of cultural similarities. I mean, across West Africa, there's definitely a lot of similarities between us anyway. But again, because we're both English-speaking countries, it actually assists and aids us to be able to move forward with communication, how we build our economy, because we're not tied to the French economy. So things are a little bit different and can be a bit murky when working with a French economy versus working with an English-speaking country. And I think what's really important to note as well is that within Africa, and just so that we're expatiating for people to appreciate that, you know, Africa, there's 54, some say 55 countries within the continent, and within every region, there's an economic trading bloc. So for South Africa, they've got SADC. For East Africa, they've also got theirs, and then for North Africa as well. So our one is just where we're located is the ECOWAS.
Great, thank you so much.
And to further add and elaborate, there's also a lot of trade benefits when you're within an economic trading bloc. It means that there's some levies that are not applied, there's some taxes that are not applied. So therefore, it promotes the idea that more African countries should trade within each other. So whether it's by road, sea, or air, that's generally what is promoted, by removing taxes and levies, and also ensuring that goods are from the country of origin. So they have to be from Ghana or from Nigeria or from Togo and Benin for it to apply and work within the ECOWAS trade.
You know, Nadia, you said something that I didn't know, that I've learned today. I heard you say that Mokola Market was started by Nigerians. Did you say that?
It was actually started by Nigeria.
I had no idea. Like, this is a revelation to me. For those of you who are watching and don't know what this is, Mokola Market is a major market in Accra, a trading center, and you'll find, you know, business women, like so many people selling, and it's so vibrant, and you'll find anything there. And I had no idea that it was started by Nigerian traders.
Yes.
That is
actually Mokala is actually the largest market in West Africa.
That is good to know.
Wow. In terms of trade, of what we do, not in terms of land space, and just in terms of the trading.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone who's joined today. I hope you learned just as much as I'm learning. I want to touch on quickly the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is the agreement that created the largest free trade area in the world for trade to happen between African countries. We talked briefly about ECOWAS, and now I want to talk about how ECOWAS fits into the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, how it would benefit somebody who may be outside of Ghana, because I mean, when we think or outside of Africa in general, because when we think about trade between African countries, your conference you're doing in Atlanta in October, how would people benefit from that if they choose to come and do business in Nigeria or in Ghana? I know that this is something that just came to my mind as this conversation is developing. So if anyone wants to answer that, you can feel free to answer that question.
I think he first started the conversation, so he should continue, and then we can add on. Adra and I can jump on after.
Thank you. I will talk briefly about the free African trade. And the only reason why the Free African Trade Agreement or the committee was set up is just for a singular market. A singular market. The various government just wanted a place or a market where every of the African continent or the West African can come together and have a singular trade. And this was brought out of various taxes. The Nigerian government had their own tax element, the Ghana government had their own tax element, and these were creating problems. By the time you move goods from Nigeria to Ghana with the various taxes, you realize that those goods become very expensive. And a whole lot of goods between Ghana and Nigeria are just agricultural products, mainly. And instead of us belaboring ourselves with very huge taxes, they came together in 2018. And I must say that the government will be having various issues about the West African blocs agree. There were a lot of meetings, there were a lot of committees set up, but 2018, they were able to agree and they signed this agreement. And it was just to propose, it was initially proposed by African Union and later came as an agreement in 2018. And Ghana was ready to host the Secretariat. And that is why Ghana is a blessing to all West Africa, because that is where the Secretariat sits and that is where all various agreements started from. But let me put to know that even though this was opened up for goods and services, it's not going to start with all the goods and services. It's going to start with specific goods. And from what we have and from what we know, this will be tax-free. So there are so many goods and services that will have to move through the West Africa that will not be taxed at all. And so it's to address poverty, it's to address one country benefiting from one product or agricultural product so that all Africans can benefit and the prices can go lower and the continent can continue to grow.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that explanation. For those of you who have joined on LinkedIn, I do see on my end that there are some technical challenges. If there are, please note that I will post the link of the video after this recording has completed, so you'll get an opportunity to watch it in full. We are in full swing on YouTube. There are no challenges. I want to get to the comment section. There are people who have joined this live stream, and I appreciate you for taking the time to join today as we talk about the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council and the conference that they're doing in Atlanta, Georgia on October the 18th. I had a question earlier that was a little bit incomplete, and it looks like he came back. He wanted to ask Ifosa about insurance, what aspects of insurance does he offer? Because I think in your introduction, you mentioned that you do insurance. So he asked that question. If you want to quickly answer that for BW, and then we can go to the next question.
If you can repeat the question again quickly, please.
He wanted to know, what aspects of insurance does he offer?
Oh, okay. I offer a general insurance. I'm a chartered insurer, so I'm an expert in both general and life insurance. I'm a fellow in insurance, but currently my brokerage firm offers a general insurance, i.e. motor accident, motor insurance, fire insurance, goods in transit, anything that is not life insurance. Thank you. And just so that I can quickly add, I have over 25 years experience in the insurance industry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you want to share how people can get in touch with you if they were interested in obtaining your services?
All right, because I belong to the Ghana Business Council, if they need to contact me, you can do that through Ghana Business Council, through our to our executive secretary, and they'll be able to reach me on any insurance and business transaction.
Okay, so they can go to the website and send an email through the website?
Yes, very well.
The Ghana, this one, the gnbc.com?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
All right, great. Thank you. Looks like we lost Nadia, but she will be back. Internet challenges in Ghana sometimes can be that way. I know the feeling. And then let's see, we have another question here from BW again, who says, also, have the members of your panel noticed any momentum with regard to the ACFTA? Have any aspects of the agreement been operationalized to the point where business owners can leverage? Does anyone want to take that question?
All right. Yes. Let me take that. For the African Free Trade Zone, it's still a work in progress. Just last year, there are policies that needs to be established, and again, we are talking about countries agreeing to these various policies. And the good thing they did first was to have a secretariat, which is a sitting base, which is a sitting government base. And the various commissioners were established, even the Secretary General was established, and going through the various policies and going through various countries, agreeing on these various policies. It's really taking time, but I know this agreement has been in force for so long. There's always back and forth, but I know very soon there'll be a takeoff of these various agreements. So nothing that we are noticing in the area of being the agreement or what we have on block, but I believe that there are so many policies that they are going through approval process of various parliamentary positions of various countries.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for answering that question. I thank you, everybody who has joined today. Just a quick reminder that we are speaking with the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council, and we are here talking about also this event that's taking place on October 18th in Atlanta, Georgia. If you are interested in signing up, you can visit the gnbc.com for more information on that event. So back to the comments. It looks like there's quite a few people coming in here and having some comments or questions. One person says, I'm trying to invest business in Ghana, but FTA is making that difficult. How do I overcome that?
All right. So, Ajwa, do you want to do that, or should I go ahead?
Sure. I mean, what I was going to say to the person straight away is, I mean, we're there as a council to help you and assist you with dealing with the FDA. We would have to know the specific challenge, but feel free to shoot us an email and we'll be able to see how best we can assist you. Because without much detail in that, we won't be able to specifically give you a straightforward answer, but we have a good working relationship with all the stakeholders, including the FDA. So I'm sure it's something that we can assist you with. So feel free to get in touch.
Please share the email.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
The general email address that people
I think it's admin at the gnbc.com. So admin, but we can jump on the website. I think you put up the website on the screen. So as soon as they get onto the website, they can shoot us an email. Yep. That's the email address.
That's the email to send a message and ask your specific question for more details. Because also you don't want to necessarily share confidential information on a live stream as well. So it's good for them to reach out directly. Welcome back, Nadia.
My internet has been so horrible to me this evening.
I know the feeling. Trust me, I know the feeling. It just happens to be that I'm not in Ghana at the moment, so I'm able to have this clear internet right now, but I know the feeling. I've experienced so much.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. So we have somebody who said they were on the website and want to know who the keynote speakers are for the event in Atlanta. Do you know that yet? Is it confirmed yet? Looks like Nadia has frozen again. I'm sure that as the speakers are confirmed, it will be listed on the website, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yes, it will be listed. But just to give a brief that we have speakers from all the key prominent promotion agencies come in, speakers from both government institutions come in, and it really promises to be, a great event. I'm sure with the keynote speakers, those tend to be, announced in its own special way. So they should just keep their eyes out on our website, on our socials, and as soon as I'm sure that confirmation comes up, it will be put on there for them to find out. But feel free for them to also email us again, and then we can put them on our mailing list so that they are informed as soon as that goes out.
Perfect. And the email again is admin@thegnbc.com. And you can visit the website as they update things. It'll be on the website as well. So
just to quickly add, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the key speakers, well, what we have taken our time is to address business area that people will actually be interested in establishing in West Africa. We did a thorough survey, and we realized that key areas like oil and gas, the SMEs, the B2B companies, the manufacturing, and so we have key speakers in those areas. And we also have people who have done business in Ghana and in Nigeria and been successful. So we have success stories to tell also. So those key people will be speaking, and they will be able to establish and explain to potential investors on the benefits that they will enjoy when they establish their business in Ghana, Nigeria, and generally in West Africa. So we have taken all these things into consideration. We have done our various research, and we will be ready to give them the best. I can assure them that they will not regret coming for the seminar.
Yeah, let me just quickly add that actually on our website, we have a full event agenda that actually lists a good, caliber of people that are going to be guest speakers. So if that person just wants to jump on our website, there's the event agenda there. I mean, I can see here, we're planning to have the governor of Bank of Ghana to be confirmed come in. So if that person is interested in having a conversation around the finance sector, definitely they can do that. So if they jump on our website, as Afisa said, that there's conversation around oil and gas, there's conversation around the green economy, investment opportunities, the legalities. There's so much that is so packed that there'll be something for everybody and whatever investment area that they are interested in. So definitely jump on our website. Feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to have that conversation.
Awesome.
But I'm sure Nadia's back. She can add something to that as well.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry, I don't even know what question we're on right now. So do excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay. It was there was a comment that was from one of the viewers that was being addressed. So it's okay. I understand.
Okay.
And so I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to ask, since this event coming up is going to be in the US, have you found that there's an increase in Americans expressing interest in doing business in Ghana and Nigeria over the last few years? Any of you can take this.
So basically, we tend to get a lot of inquiries from businesses and individuals from UK, US, Ghana, and also Nigeria. What I have found is that, me personally, what I have found is that the way diasporans invest into their home countries has changed. We're moving away from I'm giving my sister, I'm giving my uncle, I'm giving my brother money to invest into something or to do a project, to more strategic vehicles that are likely to give them a return, and it's a much more secure investment. So in terms of diaspora, we've definitely seen that a lot. And then with the US market in particular, yes, there's a lot of interest within medium to large size corporations that are actually interested in knowing more about the environment, what our terrain is like, what compliance looks like, key areas of investment, what basically how best they can navigate the terrain. And those questions, they come one at a time. Like, okay, so we're interested in this, but then a little while later, it's like they've mulled over it a little bit, and then they're asking further questions. So for us, yes, we're Ghana Nigeria Business Council. Yes, we're a promotional vehicle, but the whole idea is that we want to drive investment and business and collaborations between Ghana and Nigeria. And that can happen whether it's between Ghana and Nigeria, on the continent, in the UK, or in the US.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Someone says, how long will it be free? How long will it free trade take? I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. How long will it free trade take? Please clarify, Charity, if you could put it in the comments again and clarify what you mean, because the question seems to be a little bit short. So if you can put your question in there again with a little bit more detail, then it can help us to get your question answered. And Nadia, you've just spoken. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ivy, I was going to say, I also wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the idea that outside of people even showing interest or businesses showing interest, I mean, you yourself know you're part of the Year of Return committee and the Beyond the Return committee for Ghana. And at least I'm speaking for Ghana, but this also applies to Nigeria, whereas we are getting a lot of African Americans also coming back into our environments as well and saying that, okay, I may not be able to live here, but hey, I'm interested in doing business or investing somewhere. And then we're also looking at the other side of it, of how we can also export our products from Ghana, Nigeria into the US markets as well. Obviously, there's a lot of businesses that require natural resources, whether it's even as common as shea butter, coconut oil, and all of those type of resources, natural resources that we have here, our cocoa, our chocolate. So basically, we're really looking at how we can do trade between both countries, and equally how the US can also export into our markets.
So I think you've kind of answered my next question when I was going to ask you about if this is the right time for people to consider investing in Ghana and Nigeria. Why is now the right time? And you mentioned the Year of Return and Beyond the Return, and it is something that definitely has put a spotlight on Ghana and other parts of Africa. But outside of that, why do any of you think now is the right time for people in the diaspora in North America even to consider investing in Ghana and Nigeria?
Well, right now, Ivy, what we're finding is that, you know, Africa is getting mobilized to be able to respond not only to local, regional, and continent, but also global requirements. They're really gearing themselves up. And one of the biggest things that we've come to identify is that financing is definitely one of the biggest challenges. We are also having a big movement right now towards, in response to COP26, in preparation for COP27, which is the climate change protocols that we have to adhere to as a nation. And if there's, as each nation is getting geared up for that, we need the expertise, we need the investment, we need collaborations and partnerships. And for certain African countries, I mean, we can attest to it in Ghana and Nigeria, the currency will take them a long way right now as well. So a dollar in the Ghana or Nigerian market will take them very, very far. So there's a lot of activity that's going on in Africa. You know, before I came relocated to Ghana, I remember there was always this conversation globally, which was that, you know, if you don't invest into Africa in the next 5 years, you're going to miss the boat. And I so happened to come around that time, and I could understand now why that sentiment was shared to businesses globally about doing business in Africa, because we're quickly gaining momentum. And as we're pushing forward, it's now that people would really want to step in, collaborate. There's some brilliant ideas. Fintech is a big deal right now. As I mentioned to you, the green economy is a big deal right now. And it's an open market for people to actually come into Ghana, come into Nigeria, and be very competitive across the continent. And bearing in mind that, again, speaking to ECOWAS, speaking to AFTA, you're no longer looking at a single market anymore. You're looking at Ghana, you're looking at Nigeria, and you're looking at 54 other African countries. And then you're also looking at the external global markets as well. I was just reading something yesterday, whereas I saw that the NNPC, which is the Nigerian National Petroleum Committee, they've recently signed an agreement with Poland in order to supply gas to Poland in light of the situation that's happening right now with Russia. So these are the opportunities that people are going to be able to take advantage of. We keep on saying that Africa is the final frontier. We keep on saying that Africa is no longer the dark continent. So this really is the time to be able to come and explore the opportunities that are there. We have a burgeoning middle class. We've got good GDP and good disposable income across most of the consumers across board. So if not now, then when? That will definitely be the question.
Definitely.
Can I quickly add?
Yes, and it's funny that you want to quickly add, because we have someone who says, let's hear from our brother Ifosa.
Wow. Right. Again, I'll go on the statistics. With 420 million people in West Africa, the youth percentage of it is about 64. And there's a saying that if you have a business and it's run by the young folks, there is tendency for that business to go far, because with the average of 24 people, the average age of 24, investing in Africa is the next level. We have the population. For example, if you are investing in commodity that it's on the table of every home, imagine you investing in sugar, for example. Look at what Dangote is earning. Dangote will continue to earn a lot of money from the families around Africa because it's producing something on everybody's table. So if you are investing in West Africa and you are investing something in agriculture and you have the young folks involved, it's going to give you a lot of returns. And not only give you a lot of returns, it's going to, your business will last longer, because the average youth in Africa right now, it's about 24. And give yourself another 10 years for them to be 34, your business will have a good turnaround. And like Nadia said, the Forex is not, it's on the side, right? Why don't you just do that right now when the Forex is still the benefit of the diaspora? Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that contribution. Very meaningful information that you just shared. It is a large youth population, and I know a lot of people do talk about the youth being a powerful resource in Africa. I have somebody here who says, what resources are available to youth of Ghana or Nigeria who have little to no capital? Anyone want to address that?
Sure, I can say that. I mean, it depends on obviously their definition of resource, but I think that what the youth of Ghana and Nigeria must realize is that Africa is literally a virgin land, right? There's so much opportunity available, for a youth that has little or no capital to look at how they can add value, to products and services. So it's just basically the youth kind of taking a step back and looking at opportunities that, exist on the market. I can speak from, the government perspective for Ghana, that I know the government is doing quite a lot of initiatives and incentives trying to help youth get into entrepreneurship. And I know that there might be some grants and stuff available. So there's so much opportunities on the ground, I think, both in Ghana and Nigeria. And I think that the youth must really, pay attention and utilize some of the opportunities on the ground.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I know our time is quickly going.
Right.
Ifosa, did you want to add something?
Yeah, a very, very, very quick information. Ghana and Nigeria are going through political period right now, and most of the various government or proposed prospect presidents or whatever are proposing a youth involvement in their next government. Ghana established a program for the youth where they can come in and get some little money to establish their business, and in return payback. Same is going on in Nigeria. Nigeria is going through election in the next less than a year, and the various candidates are proposing youth involvement. So the youth are available for any business to jump on. And again, for every person investing in Africa with the back mind of involving the youth, is definitely going to gain a lot with the strength. The strength of the youth is there, and by so doing, your business also will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. I do have the same person who came on to say, and I want to say something about this particular one, who said, more I am, so really no resources. It seems like more for foreign and diaspora investments are being pushed. Well, in this particular live stream, because we are talking about the event that's coming up in October in the US, in Atlanta, promoting investments in Ghana and Nigeria, we are having more of a discussion focused on the diaspora making investments in Ghana and Nigeria. However, as Ifosa quickly said, that there are people who are trying to engage the youth, more youth engagement programs. And also I encourage young people in Ghana and Nigeria and other African countries to not always be waiting for the government to do things to support what you're trying to do. Because a lot of the times people don't realize that some of the diaspora don't have money either. Sometimes they think everyone in the diaspora is rich. They think everyone in the diaspora has money. Everyone is coming with a whole big bag of millions to come and invest and do things. But there is diaspora who moved to Ghana, who moved to Nigeria, other parts of Africa, and they land and they realize, oh my goodness, this is harder than I expected it to be. And then they realize, I don't even have enough money to do the things I need to do. And they find a way. I think looking at young people who are doing things like creating content and using the digital media as their tool to make money, that is a way that you can start it. I'll give an example. I met a young person at a gas station in Ghana, and I was waiting for a bus to come pick me up because we were going on a trip to the Volta region. And this young lady looked bored. I said, "You look bored. You look like you don't like your job." She said she doesn't like her job. I'm telling this story really quickly. I asked her what she wants to do with herself. She says she wants to do fashion design. I said, "So what are you doing to be in fashion?" And she's like, "Well, I'm working at the gas station. I can't get a job." And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing to get there?" And she said, "Well, she has a certificate." I said, "I didn't ask you if you had a certificate. I asked you, what are you doing to get into fashion?" She said, "Nobody will hire her in fashion. She can't get a job." I said, "Well, what skill do you have?" She said, "I can sew." "Okay, you can sew. Can you make a dress?" "Yes, I can make a dress." "Can you post a picture of that dress on your Facebook page?" I know you use Facebook because I see people scrolling on Facebook, scrolling on Instagram, using their data for just fun and jokes to watch funny videos. Use your data to post pictures of the dresses you can make and start selling them. As you start to grow with your sales, then you can leave this job. So that's a simple example of what you can do to capitalize on your situation when you don't have the resources that you don't see around you. Sometimes we can find our own way to make it forward. And I know that not everybody has that. You know, maybe if you don't have data, that's your time to go to Vita e-Cafe and stand outside and use their free Wi-Fi, right? That's your time to
So
go.
free
Ivy, I just wanted to add, if this lady is in Ghana, I just want to list about 4 organizations off the top of my head that I know can assist her if you're talking about Ghana. You've got the Ghana Enterprise Agency, which supports entrepreneurs across board. It's even before, from ideation to startup to scale up. You also have the Scale Up Agency, which is run by Ama Giampo. So if you're actually looking to scale up your business, they're able to provide resources and support. You also have GIZ that partners a lot of organizations in Ghana to support agric, women-based business, etc. There's also the Creative Arts Fund that also provides support to businesses. And then there's also the MasterCard Foundation that is doing an incredible amount of work across Africa in terms of mobilizing young people, entrepreneurs, and their ideas as well. So it really also does come down to what are you actually doing in order to find those resources that are available. There's also Access Bank are also presently running the Womanpreneur Pitchathon, which is for women entrepreneurs from the ages of 25 to 45, I believe. And it gives them the opportunity of winning a grant as well as receiving a mini MBA by IFC, the International Financial Corporation, as well as, again, getting access to resources. So there's definitely resources out there. You just need to be able to put yourself out there, research and find it. Both Ghana and Nigeria are doing a lot of work in gearing up the entrepreneur community because they understand that it's the engine of our economy. So they're being very intentional about how they can bring our people along with us.
Sure. Let me add too, because Nadia has started by the flag of mentioning all the help that's available. And it's really good that you did that. So back to what I was saying, that the government has, the Ghana government has the NEIP, I think is the National
Entrepreneurship Innovation.
Yeah. So and then there's the hubs as well. So I mean, I know someone in my network that runs iSpace, which they help entrepreneurs that want to get into technology. As part of that, they also have the Ghana Hubs network. So basically, there's hubs that for entrepreneurs that want to start a business, from startup to growth stage, that they helped there as well. So there is so much happening on the ground that you literally need to sit down and do your research, follow the right news channels, and make sure you're getting the information. So this thing about there's no opportunities for young people on the ground, to be honest, I don't buy into that. There's too many opportunities. There's too much opportunities, and we're not even getting people to take up the opportunities. So that's really what's happening, on the ground, in my opinion, in both countries.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Fred, for your contribution. It's true, we don't need to wait for the government. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. It is so important that we learn to open our minds for young people, especially. I think that sometimes it's easy for young people to get caught in the trap of thinking that there's no way ahead. I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but definitely take advantage of trying to find some of the resources that are out there for you. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't want to keep our guests on for too long today because I do know everybody has busy schedules. It's getting late on the Ghana side. I want to go back to talking about the event that's happening in October in Atlanta, Georgia. With this business conference happening, why is it so important to hold such an event in the US, considering that the organization, the GNBC, typically is on doing business between Nigeria and Ghana? What's the goal for the event in Atlanta?
So inevitably, the goal is to drive foreign direct investment in between Ghana and Nigeria. And who better to have those conversations than our council? I'm not sure if it was mentioned earlier, but we're actually doing this in partnership with the Nigeria-Ghana Business Council, which is in Lagos, Nigeria. You would always have the government level, the top level activities that will take place, but then you also need the conversation to also come from the private sector as well. So for us, we definitely want to achieve foreign direct investment into both countries. We want to be able to inform, educate, promote Africa as well. You know, the US-Africa agreement or summit that we presently have, and that's ongoing, or a commitment, is something whereas both Africa and the US want to be able to see an increase of trade between the two, between the US and then the continent. And for us, because we have the relevant contacts, because we have the necessary information, it makes sense for us to be able to present ourselves to the US market to say, hey, like, if you want to come in, you could also engage with us. We're the ones that are going to be able to assist you. We can do your due diligence. We can help you set up. We can do your market research. We can do your business matching, etc. So there's no limitations. There's no limitations on what we do.
Thank you so much. I want to put on the screen here, just so people are reminded of the event that is coming up. Tuesday, October 18th, $250 per person. To get your tickets, register at thegnbc.com to get more information and stay up to date. It gives you an opportunity to learn about doing business in Africa, supporting each other in the community, doing business, promoting what it is that we do. The possibilities are endless. Africa is the frontier now for doing business. It is the place that you can come and start, and you can grow into a big multi-million-dollar platform, unlike any other place, as we're seeing the growth potential is endless. Again, I want to thank our guests for being here today and taking the time out on a Monday after work, because I know you had your full work day today, to come on board. And then those of you who are in the US, you are probably in the middle of your work day and you've taken the time to join us, because it is mid-afternoon Eastern time. It is still, I think, morning on the Pacific Coast. I thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything that you all wanted to say to close out before we wrap up?
Sure. I mean, let me just say, thank you for everybody for joining us. We are grateful for this opportunity. And just to say that, the wave that is blowing on the African continent in terms of investment and opportunities, I want to say that it's really vibrant and bubbling. And don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late before you come and invest. I think, as we said, the time to invest is now, and you will not regret your investment. So hopefully we get to see some of you that are on this live in Atlanta on the 18th of October. So looking forward to seeing you all.
Great. I know I started wrapping up, but there was one thing I wanted to ask really quickly that I missed that I wanted to ask, was if your organization is going to help facilitate people in the US with trying to do business when they go to the conference.
Yes, and Ivy, what I wanted to add on is that we're not just doing this conference for doing a conference sake. We really do want to see a return of investment or for this particular conference that we're doing. So as soon as we do the conference on Tuesday, the 18th of October, we're then going to follow up with a trade mission for the companies in America to come to Ghana and Nigeria in 2023 to do basically exploration of both Ghana and Nigeria, have strategic meetings, albeit with the private sector or with government organizations as well. So we are holding people's hand from the US into Ghana, into Nigeria, and continuing it forward. So it just doesn't end here. There's more that we're going to be doing. We're going to follow up after the conference.
That's really good to know. Thank you for sharing that bit of information. I'm just looking at return on investment is the goal for everyone involved. GH Nigeria. Thank you, Blind Guy, his wife, and their life for adding your contribution here. And the thing about going live sometimes it's easy to miss a couple of things here and there. There was a comment that I know I was wrapping up. There was a comment back here that I saw that I thought was important to address, but then we got to talking about something else. Here it is. Kate said, I am not sure if this has been mentioned, but are you aware of the African Growth and Opportunity Act? This allows trade between the continent and the US. Are any of you aware of this, and can one of you address it?
Yes. Well, we are aware of the AGOA, and it's not every African country that it applies to, but it does apply to Ghana, and it also does apply to Nigeria, and it is something that people are also trading under. So yes, we're aware of it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. So we have been on for just over an hour, and I want to give Ifosa also an opportunity to give some final words before we close out.
I mean, I would be happy if you have not given me this opportunity, but that was on a lighter note. I just want to tell folks out there there are so many examples of people who have left America to come back home, and they'll be very, very successful. Example is Davido. I mean, he had all the luxury, realized there's a lot of opportunity in Afrobeat. He picked up the Afrobeat in Africa, in Nigeria. You know, there's a saying that Afrobeat started from Ghana. There's still that fight that started from Ghana or Nigeria. Yeah. And he added the hip hop to it. And he's really selling at the moment. He's making a lot of money out of it. So I want to encourage our folks that there's a lot, like let's pick from example of what the musicians are doing. Right now, a lot of musicians in Africa are doing tours all over America. So the environment is safe. The infrastructure is developing. You need to come to Ghana and see that we have electricity. You need to come to Nigeria and Abuja and see that the infrastructures are mind-blowing. So don't let them tell you that, oh, Africa is not developed. Africa is really developing. So why don't you join the development so that you have your own investment? There's a whole lot to do together, and we are there to hold your hands and to help you achieve your aim. Thank you.
Thank you for that contribution. It is so true. Davido has been doing a lot in the music space, and a lot of these artists are really showcasing African culture and music to the world, and it's become a piece that really drives home the value of what the African continent brings, because music is universal. It's something that people connect with. Music, fashion, culture, food, all of that has been contributing to people's interest in the continent of Africa. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for taking the time today for coming out. Nadia wants to say something.
Sorry, I know you need to end it. Sorry,
because I don't want to keep you all too long. That's the thing. I always want to try to keep it as succinct as possible. But go ahead and add.
Sorry, because an hour is a long time, so I do apologize. Excuse me, guys. I just wanted to. I'm not sure if it's been mentioned that the conference, this conference that we're doing, is focusing on 6 key sectors. Has that been mentioned already? Because I know my internet was on and off.
Go ahead and add it.
Okay, so the 6 key sectors that we're actually focusing on for this conference is oil and gas, green economy, agriculture, manufacturing, services such as fintech, hospitality, entertainment, and then also healthcare. So we actually, that's what the content of the conference is going to be focused on. We're going to be addressing the economic governance and management. We're going to be speaking to our infrastructure, specifically the energy and ports infrastructure. So it's definitely going to be an informative event that people can participate in. We also have the opportunity for people to participate in a B2B matching. It's going to have to be virtual for most of the case for businesses in Ghana and Nigeria to be able to match with businesses in the US. And you know, there's a lot of great case studies. I mean, we've mentioned it earlier, but you've got the likes of Chevron, you've got Shell, you've got Coca-Cola, IBM, Uber, Amazon, even Walmart, who have all moved onto the continent and are experiencing and witnessing great returns for that. So we're really hoping that, if anything, that people come to this conference, that you learn much more about the continent, that you interact with people like myself, other members of our executive team, the promotional agencies from both Ghana and Nigeria. It would really be beneficial and insightful for at least that initial conversation to be had, in order for people to be able to build up their commitment or their decision as to whether or not they want to come into Ghana and or Nigeria. And to be honest with you, Ghana is the gateway of Africa. We used to say West Africa, but now it's of Africa. And Nigeria has got the largest economy on the continent and the biggest population. So it's a no-brainer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have one thing here that someone said. I'm trying to see. Oh, I posted on the screen already, the 6 key sectors that clarify. Thank you for that, Nadia. So everyone who has joined this live stream today, I really appreciate you. We were live on LinkedIn and live on YouTube. This has been a great discussion talking about doing business in West Africa, in Ghana and Nigeria specifically, and the upcoming conference that is happening in Atlanta, Georgia on October the 18th. And that conference, as I mentioned, is $250 per ticket. GNBC.com to get your information and register and stay up to date on all the upcoming information. The website will be updated as speakers are added, so that you can get information on who's going to be there. I do know that a lot of the councils, business councils in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, are supportive of this event and are really it's really going to be a really great time. And unfortunately, I won't be there. I did see in the comments somebody asked if I was going to be there. I won't be at the event, but you will find some of the executives of the Ghana Nigeria Business Council to be there for the Ghana Nigeria Business and Investment Conference 2022. This is not a final event. It's an opportunity. It's a lead-in for future. So don't think that it's just going to end there after this event happens. It is an opportunity to start the engagement of doing business in Ghana and in Nigeria. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. I appreciate you. Once again, information is on their website, gnbc.com. And email is admin@gnbc.com. Thank you so much. And we will be ending the live stream now. If you would like to support this channel, you can support the channel by hitting the thanks button at the bottom of the video on YouTube, or you can click the link in the comments to support by PayPal to support this channel and continuing to create content to bring you stories from Africa and the African diaspora. I thank you so much. And we will end the broadcast today. Have yourself a good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on which part of the world